Hello, my name's Fiona and today I'm going to teach you how to make this little mouse cat toy. Could be a cat toy actually, could be a human toy, could be a dog toy. You put, if you had, a little bell on the end of its tail. It's stuffed, I just stuffed it with fibre, but if you had some catnip you could put that inside so the cat would smell it and play with it. You could add on little eyes, not if you were giving it to a baby or a cat, but if you just wanted it as a little mouse decoration. So there's lots you could do with it, but this is it at its simplest, and I'll show you how to make it. So we start by tying a slip knot as usual. So wrap the yarn around, making sure it crosses over. Put your hook through and grab the back strand. Oop. And then pull it off your fingers and you have a slip knot. Mine is looking, there we go, slip knot. Now we chain 16. If you do have a bell that has a little hook, you can add it in, then chain 15 and hook in the little bell and secure it with a final chain, but otherwise no bell, it's chain 16. Okay, so when you've got your 16, skip the one that's closest to the hook and we're just going to put 2 double crochets in each of the 15 chains. So the double crochet is you put your hook through the stitch. I'm just catching, there's 3 strands in each of the chain stitches, but if you just catch the back one, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and take both off. So we do that, 2 in each of them. So remember, only pick up one strand, only pick up the back strand, and then as you put 2 of these into each of the chain stitches, it magically begins to curl all by itself. See? And it turns into this very fetching curly tail. So when you're back up to, or when you get to the end, then we do a slip stitch into the last chain. So to do a slip stitch, put your hook through, you yarn over and pull up a loop, but then take that loop through the loop on the hook. And then we're going to begin to work the body. So when we're working the body, it builds up round in a circle, but you don't join and build up, you just keep on going in a circle. So it's really important to have some kind of stitch marker to mark your the start or the end of your row, just to keep track. So to begin this, we're going to chain 2. And then into that first chain we created, we're going to do 8 double crochets. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so when you have your 8 in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm just going to mark my last one so I know when I've arrived at it again. And we just go back into our first one tricky to work in. And we do 2 double crochets in each of these. So 1, 2. I mean, if your work's tight, it's gonna be a little bit tricky to get into. I did not say. Aran weight yarn, which normally takes like about a 4 or 5 hook, but I'm working it with a 3.5mm hook, so that's why the work is quite tight, and your stuffing shouldn't show then, as long as you keep it nice and tight. I think I overstuffed, so mine's is gapping a little bit. I might put some less stuffing in this time. Anyway, sorry. Continue round in the circle, 2 double crochets in each stitch. Okay, so the end of that will give you 16 stitches, and then for row 3 we put 2 stitches in the first stitch. So I'll mark the first stitch of the row now. Maybe easier to always mark the first stitch or the last stitch, but I'll continue with the first stitch. So you put 2 in the first stitch and then 1 in the next stitch, and you do that 8 times. So 2 double crochets in a stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the following stitch, and keep doing that pattern all the way around. Okay, so that gives you 24 stitches. So then for rows 4 to 7, you just do 1 stitch in each of the 24 stitches all the way around. So that's quite simple, no increases, just 24 stitches, and mark that's the beginning of my row, so I'll get 24 round to there, and then I'll lift it out to put it in again for my next. So just keep moving and keep a track of your first stitch in the row. So that was row 4 I did, so no, that's not. I've just started row 4, so row 4 is 24, a double crochet in each stitch 24 times. Okay, when you finish row 7, that is your last row of 24 stitches, and we're going to shrink the body so it gets down towards the head. So we do this by joining 2 stitches. So where we would have 2 stitches in the row below, we join them to make 1 stitch. So you do this by inserting your hook into the first stitch, yarning over and pulling up a loop. Put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and take off all of those loops at once. And from 2 stitches in the row below, you can now see that will give 1 stitch. So we do one of those joining stitches, and then we do, sorry, let me just mark it. Then we do 6 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we repeat that 3 times. So do the joining stitch, and then another 6 double crochet, a joining stitch, and the final 6 double crochet. Okay, then for row 9 we again join the first 2 stitches together. Oh, and then we do 5 double crochet and we repeat that. Again, that repeats, oh, need to mark it, that repeats 3 times round. Okay, and then row 10 we again join the first 2 stitches and then we do 4 double crochets and repeat that 3 times. Okay, after row 10, ooh, we then stuff it. So this is a hollow fibre from the pillow I dismantled last month. So just press it in. If you're using catnip, you can wrap the catnip in like a little scrap of fabric and secure it with a rubber band or sew it closed, and then put it in the middle of the fibre. Just that'll keep it from coming loose. I think that much will do. So now row 11 we create the ears and the head. So don't know what that. There we go. Okay, so we join together the first 2 stitches. And then we do 3 double crochets, 2, 3, and then we join 2 more together. Now we're going to work into the front loop only. So each stitch has like 2 strands. So I'm just going to catch one here, the front one, go under it and do a slip stitch, which is yarning over and pulling through, and then pulling that loop through the loop on the hook. That's a slip stitch. And now I'm going to chain 2, and into that same stitch that I slip stitched into, I'm going to do 2 treble crochets. So the treble is as such. We yarn over, we go through, yarn over and drop a loop. So there's 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and take 2 loops off, yarn over and take another 2 loops off. Then we chain 2 and we slip stitch again back into that loop, into that stitch we're in, and that has created our first ear. And we repeat that. So into the next stitch we pick up a loop and we slip stitch, then we chain 2, we do 2 treble crochets into just the front strand of the stitch, the front loop, 2 treble crochets, chain 2, and slip stitch again into that same chain we're working in, and that is my second ear. And then we're going to join the following 2 stitches together. And stitch into the next 3 stitches, which is going to bring me back to the beginning. Row 12, we double crochet into the first 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, I'll just mark that first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This brings me to the ears. So we put a half double crochet on the back loops of these, and like to get, right, so a half double crochet we yarn over, and to get to the back hooks we have to go through and hook up the stitch we want. We yarn over and we pull it through, and then we yarn over and we take off all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, again yarn over, go right back through to the back loop, which is there. I'm going to pull that through. Yarn over and take all 3 off. Forgot to yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, and take all 3 off. And then we just go back to double crochets, and we double crochet into the last stitches. So row 13, we join the first 2 stitches together, and then we do a double crochet into the next 2 stitches. We just repeat that pattern all around. Okay, and for row 14, we can add more stuff in here actually. Before we go on to that, just add a little bit more stuffing for the head. Don't want to overstitch or stuff it to pull all my stitches out, so just put a little bit more in. So for row 14, we join the first 2 stitches, then we do 1 double crochet. Should mark that. That's my first stitch. So join 2, 1 double crochet, and repeat that 3 times. Join 2 and then 1 double crochet. Okay, so then we can cut and tie off our yarn, and we get the correct size darning needle, and so there's quite a big gap there left, so you just weave that tail in through, just gathering up and closing over the loose end. Okay, so when you feel that is secure, you can just cut it. I'm just going to put it back and forth a little bit, so I know we do this, the weaving in the ends, so that the yarn doesn't unravel. So if you have it secured nicely back and forth, even if there's a little piece hanging out, it can't come loose and unravel. Okay, this one isn't stuffed as full. That's my first little fatty. And you do the same with this end. You use your hook. Again, there'll be a hole there where we went from the tail into making it, so you just thread the little tail in through your needle, and you can just go around, maybe initially gathering this in, and then when you think it's pulled in as tight as you can pull it, then you can just go back and forth across it to secure it, so that there'll be no unraveling. Okay, so I'm just going to go in one side and out the other. And just keep doing that back and forth until you're sure it is secure, and then voila, finito, little mouse. You can do it in lots of different colours. You can, if you feel like being fancy, you can stripe it and add in different colours of yarn. But yeah, cat toy. My cat enjoys it. I'll put up a picture of my cat playing with it. I just got a new cat. Well, it's not a new cat, it's not a kitten, but I adopted one from the animal sanctuary 3 weeks ago. So this has been a big hit with her. So hopefully your cats or children or dogs enjoy this toy as much. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.